Hi everyone, it's Saya, and today I'm going to be doing a reading vlog. So I know that most people use reading vlogs as like a chill way to just show you what they're reading and to do some like cool aesthetic shots of them lying somewhere cute. I don't have all of that. Mine's gonna be a little bit different in that I kind of want my reading vlogs to have a bit of a theme to them. So lately I've been thinking just in general like where I want my content to go and what I want to do. And one of the things that I've realized is that as much as people like join YouTube to become an influencer, I don't really want to influence people. I more want to like showcase how I'm being influenced by other people. So for this reading vlog in particular, I thought I would choose a couple books that I have seen highlighted a lot on people's channels that I watch that I've wanted to try and that I've thought were sort of similar, and I will compare the two. I have chosen 4 books, 2 graphic novels, and 2 like proper books. And yeah, it's gonna be a challenge. I've never been the type of person to be able to read like a whole book in a day anyways. Like I've always been the type of person who I read 75% of it and I'm like, you know what, I could finish this if I just go for it, but why go for it, you know? I should get up and stretch and walk. So I actually don't think I'll be able to accomplish this, but I'm gonna try really hard, and if not, I'll just like continue into the next day. So without further ado, let's get into the books. Actually, I think usually you'd say the date and time, right? It's currently 10:12 a.m. on Tuesday, December 18th.
And if you're watching this, we weren't able to defeat them and the aliens have taken over. But it's not too late for you. You need to find my notebook before they get to you too. Shh.
Okay. That's what I always feel like people are gonna do when they tell you the date and time on their vlogs. So I just wanted to add that in there. Anyways, in terms of my plans for today, I mostly just want to read. Duh. I think I have to go get a suit hemmed for Carms, and then I may potentially go bowling tonight if my friends decide they want to be social. So this is kind of like a 2-part comparison. So the first part is the 2 graphic novels, and the first one that I got is Fence. Now Fence is not inspired by any reader. This is the only one that I kind of chose myself. I don't know if it actually won, but it was like highly rated on Goodreads for graphic novel of the year, and it is highly recommended to people who like Yuri on Ice, and I was obsessed with Yuri on Ice, and I'm so excited to get back into like cute boys doing more sports. So, and that is this. And I'm gonna compare this to volume 1 of Saga, which I have heard a lot of good things about over on Isabel's channel, and I will leave her channel down below so you can check that out and get your proper like description of what it's about and why you should read it, etc. I know that they're the same format but very different genres, so this might be my loosest comparison, but we're gonna try. And then my other one is I'm gonna be reading Keeper of the Lost Cities, which I have seen over on Books and Caffeine's channel, and I will also link her down below so you can see her gush about it. But basically it's supposed to be like a middle grade that's a lot of fun, and I have kind of always wanted to get into middle grade but never bothered to because I always thought it'd be too childish. But I'm hoping that this book and my next one will prove me wrong. The 4th and final book, which I have downloaded as an audiobook, is Nevermoor, The Trials of Morrigan Crow, or something like that. You all know what I'm talking about, I think. I'll put a picture somewhere. And that one I saw mostly on Monica's channel from She Might Be Monica, and that was another one that I really wanted to try, and I've just heard like good things consistently from most people who've tried it. The reason I got the audiobook is so that if I'm feeling restless or if I feel like I need to get up and move and do some exercise, then I can still read while I do that, because as much as I love reading vlogs, I don't think I can condone a full day of just sitting and lying on your couch. So I wanted to incorporate some exercise so that you stay healthy. Unfortunately, my neighborhood is like super suburban, but I'm gonna like try to pull my inner Miss Emma Reads a Lot and make it a beautiful walk outside where we look at broken leaves and stuff. So that is the gist of today. Okay, all right, let's just get to reading. I made it to page 100 and I wanted to do a quick check-in because I think I need to go for a walk. It is 1:10 right now, so I did so-so. I like tried to read downstairs and my mom just kept wanting to show me memes, so... Yeah, my family, like, they won't really leave you alone for long enough for me to be able to do a reading vlog, but that's fine. Overall, I'm really liking it. I think the level of writing is something I need to get used to. Because it's middle grade, it's fairly simple. It's not like a bad simple, it's just that it's not super... Sophisticated isn't even the right word. Like, it's the right level. It's sophisticated writing, I guess. It's the right level for what it's supposed to be. It's just that it's more like direct, not as subtle almost. My brother taught me this once, but if you watch cartoons for kids, there won't be as much sarcasm or idioms used. It's like very direct writing because at that level, like, children are more concrete thinkers. And so in my opinion, that kind of takes away from the writing, or some of the fun of reading is just how they choose to say things and like wordplay, things like that, which this doesn't necessarily have. Usually like children's books are a bit punnier, but this isn't even punny. But if I take that part away, I actually do like the story. I like where it's going. I like the main character, so it's like a very classic setup of this girl who like finds out that she actually has some magical abilities and she's taken to a new world and has to figure things out, and she's sort of like chosen 1E, but she's not nearly as dumb as a lot of the protagonists that we usually get, especially in this type of story. Even though she's only 12 years old, she actually has more common sense than a lot of other protagonists who are usually like 15, 16. So I definitely commend her on that. The part that's lacking for me is that she doesn't have like a squad yet. Like, it's definitely, there's her, there's this 15-year-old guy character, and like the romance is fairly, it's not developed, but it's like hinted at fairly early, which I was surprised about, just because I assumed there'd be very little romance in middle grade. But other than those two characters, everyone else so far seems to be adults, and I just thought, like, I don't know, it wasn't really that interesting to see the child's relationship with a bunch of other adults. Like, I would much rather she get some friends and we can like start the drama. That's the only part that's kind of lacking for me as of yet, but otherwise it's fairly fast paced. It's interesting. I think the world building's pretty cool so far in that like everything is kind of weird, magical, whimsical, strange-ish. They'll lick walls in order to get into other places. So like just weird things like that are always fun. I didn't actually end up going for a walk. I kind of took a break. And by take a break, I mean that I lay on the floor for 2 hours contemplating what I did to deserve another rejection email from Carms. So I am an hour and a half into the Nevermoor audiobook. So far, I think Nevermoor is more promising than the City of Lost Keepers. No, the Keeper of the Lost Cities. I just think that Nevermoor did a much better job of setting up the conflict and making you curious as to how it's going to work out. I just think it did a better job of laying that foundation. Like at the end of, I'm just going to call it Keeper, but like by the end of the 100 pages of Keeper, I liked the main character and I was interested how her adventure was going to go, but I didn't really have a sense of what necessarily the conflict was going to be and like what would be the interesting aspects of this story. Like I knew that there was an interesting world, but I didn't have enough details of that world to really feel super connected to it, whereas with Nevermoor, like right off the bat, I just thought the writing was a bit better, the pacing was like slower, and it almost took the time to describe things and, like I said, to lay that foundation. And so I think Nevermoor so far is better, but I'm pretty excited to continue both of them regardless. But so far, objectively, I think Nevermoor is definitely better than Keeper. That being said, Keeper I think at least has like 6 books out now, so it might be one of those things where it's going to be a bit slow to kind of get its footing, but once it does, who knows, maybe it turns out to be super amazing. So I'm not giving up on Keeper yet, but for now I think that Nevermoor definitely wins the first 100-page challenge. Alright, I'll see you guys soon. Alright, so it's Boxing Day now, or December 26th. I don't actually know what countries celebrate Boxing Day or not. So
So my 24-hour readathon did not work out as planned. So I ended up finishing Keeper of the Lost Cities on Christmas Eve. Ultimately, I ended up really enjoying this book. All of the flaws that I said existed in the last update that I did, like, still persisted towards the end of the book. There was something about it. It was like very... Like, I'm gonna tell you some of my criticisms of the book, but despite all the criticisms that I have, I actually ultimately really enjoyed the book, and overall, I thought it was a really fun read. For now, I'm gonna say that I liked it quite a bit, and I think it definitely has potential, despite its flaws, to get better with the subsequent stories. So I think I remember saying that I thought it was kind of weird that she only interacts with adults, but she does end up going to school, and once she goes to school, it gets a bit better. Like, there's more drama, there's more people her age, and I was interested in that type of drama. But I also thought sometimes the way the romance and the drama was played out made this book feel not realistic. Like, it felt kind of catty in a heightened way, and at times when it wasn't necessarily appropriate, like, especially among the adults more so than the young people. Like, the young people were so-so or acting their age, but I definitely felt like the more adult characters were very gossipy. It didn't really make sense given their position and rank in society, or that, like, they were in government and they were supposed to be these well-respected people, but then they'd act like 5-year-olds sometimes. But maybe that's just me. Beyond the story, this book doesn't have a whole lot of commentary on issues of society or diversity or anything like that. So if you're looking for a bit of like a deeper meaning to your read, I don't think this will provide that. It's very like surface level, like, here's the story, here's the plot, it's action packed, it's fast paced, but there's not a whole lot of like deeper meaning to it, or not a whole lot of like subtle context, or what's it called, like subtle subtext maybe. This book didn't really have that. There's not any class issues, there's not any gender issue, like there's just nothing really of substance there other than like the main story and whatever the main conflict is. I hope at least in the subsequent novels that she does explore it a bit more and makes the story a bit more nuanced, but for now, I don't mind, because like I said, I think there's still potential for the book to get better. I also think at times the book suffers a bit from telling you and not showing you, and it could just be because it's going so fast paced, but I definitely think there were times where she could have shown a bit more. I can't give examples, but just trust me, there's times I think where she could have shown a bit more. The amount of romance and drama that's in it kind of gives me like MTV reality TV show vibes. No disrespect to that, but it just didn't really fit the tone of the story at times. Suddenly, like, a serious situation didn't feel so serious anymore. At the end of the day, I still found the pacing of the book to be a bit too fast, in my opinion. Like I said, I think going too fast is way better than going too slow, because there's nothing worse than a book dragging. I liked the book a lot, so there were moments that you could have like drawn it out more and I still would have been invested, and it just would have made for a better read. I don't think it like takes away from the book necessarily. I just think it could have made it better. And sort of along those lines, there were times where the dialogue didn't really feel natural. It just kind of felt like people were saying things that normal people wouldn't say just in order to move the plot along. And then I also think like the characters were a little weak in that they start off interesting, but at the end of the day, they all end up being very two-dimensional. I mean, I'm hoping we get a bit of character growth and development in future books, but for now, they're a little two-dimensional. Although I like the friend crew, there's nothing that makes me love them yet, and like I want to support them the way, you know, I support like the Voltron crew or like squad goals type crews, but for now I think they're just kind of meh. Like, all the characters are sort of bland. And then the last thing too is that this book isn't outright problematic, I'd say. Just that there are some times where certain problematic themes are a bit normalized, especially given the fact that it's targeted to 8 to 12-year-olds. You know, I would suspect that there are young girls reading this book as well. There's definitely like some things there that I wouldn't really want if I had a young girl to be reading about. So like there's definitely like girl on girl hate and jealousy, and this idea that girls need to compete for who's most beautiful, and like people will just make comments on who is the most beautiful in the school and things like that. It just makes me not want to necessarily recommend this to someone who's a younger reader who isn't critical yet. That being said, like if you are a bit more of a critical reader and you can just acknowledge that it happened but disregard it, then like go for it. But if you are going to recommend this to young readers, I think it's worth knowing. So overall, I gave this book a 3.5 stars, only because I really liked it. It was enjoyable. Entertainment value was definitely there. I just think it had quite a few inherent flaws that I've discussed, so like I can't really be giving it 4 stars, you know what I'm saying? If you're into a more character driven story, I don't think this will be for you. This is definitely more like plot and just fast paced action, like boom boom boom, page turning type thing. I think if you like the Lux series, that flow of a story, not necessarily that concept, like I wouldn't compare that to this, but that whole, you just keep reading and there's not a whole lot to it, but they're long books, you go through them and it's just fun. It's like kind of like an immediate adrenaline rush. That's the vibe that I get from this book. World building was so. I definitely do think, like I said, that there's the potential for the subsequent novels to go in and fill in the holes that this one has. We'll get a bit more world building and we'll get a bit more character growth, but it's going to be a leap of faith. So I'm going to go try to finish up the Trials of Morgan Crow. Hopefully it won't take me a week, but who knows, and then hopefully wrap this video up. Bye. Hello, I just finished filming an unhaul that I may or may not post, but I wanted to update to say that I'm DNFing Morgan Crow. I just can't. I can't. It's like objectively better than, what's the other book that I just read? It's objectively better than Keeper of the Lost Cities, to be honest, and like it's good, the quality is good, the world building is better. I just like, there's nothing interesting about it though for me, and I'm like halfway through the book right now and she still has like a few more trials to go and I just like don't care. And I've like put it on the audiobook. I've been trying to just follow the audiobook instead of the like reading it. And well, actually you guys don't even know that I started on audiobook, but despite the audiobook actually being really good and there's all these cool accents and voices that she does, I just can't. So I'm DNFing it, and I guess that's the end of this vlog. Yeah, I guess that's it for this comparison. I feel like I can't really compare it. I really tried to push through. I would have DNF'd the book at like 25% if it wasn't for this vlog. I really wanted to finish the book completely so that I could at least like tell you which of the two is better, but maybe the fact that I can't even finish it speaks for itself. Go ahead and like look up everyone else's stellar reviews of the Trials of Morgan Crow if you want to find out what it is they like about it, but I just, even though it was good, I really like couldn't care less. Like I'd just rather read something else. So yep. That's it for this vlog. I'll probably do Saga and Fence for the next one. Thanks for watching. I had a lot of fun doing this, even though it wasn't really 24 hours of reading. So yeah, please stay tuned for that, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!